everyone, it's Lydia here at Lydia's Leisurely Stitching. Today is Thursday, May 9th, 2024, and this is my 38th Flosstube video. I want to thank you all for coming and spending some time with me and looking at the progress I've made on my projects. And I want to send a special thank you to anyone that's new. I hope you enjoy what I have to show and find a reason to come back. So today I've got a lot to share. I've got 2 fully finished objects. I have a finish, I have 5 whips, and then I have some new stash acquisitions to share and a giveaway winner to announce at the end of the video. So I figure we'll start with the finishes. First up, this is Swamp Witch by Forest Embroidery. And I'm sorry about the glare, this is as good as it's gonna get. This is stitched on 32 count Dolce de Leche by Fiber on a Whim. And I'm getting most of my things framed in this frame so that my house is cohesive. I did change some things on the pattern. I bought this as a kit with the Forest Embroidery overdyed flosses, and I used them for the flowers. You can see how it ranges from light yellow to darker yellow, the yellow in the frog, and then the green in the skirt is overdyed as well. But a lot of things like the cattails and her hair I changed to a solid brown. I wanted her to look more like me. Originally she had like this bluish green colored hair, and I wanted her to be more normal looking. She also had chicken feet, so I changed her feet to some little boots. And I think she is adorable. And then my second one is Long and Skinny. This is part of the Saltwater Scrapbook by Lindy Stitches and the Blue Flower. It originally comes with 9 blocks to stitch in a 3x3 grid, but I decided to do 5 of my favorite ones in a long skinny piece. So this hangs up in the narrow spot between my door and my window. You know, there's like little skinny spots there, so this goes there. So I've got the seagulls and the pirate, the octopus, the hammerhead shark, and the squid. So I stitched these. I thought, you know, the seagulls fly in the air, and then the man walks on land. The octopus is actively involved in the land, and then under the water there's the shark, and on the bottom of the ocean you can see there's some sand down at the bottom is the squid. So I stitched them like that. Hey, there's the whole thing. This is on 32 count Picture This Plus Mercedes, and I just thought this was the perfect blue color to be kind of shimmering blue of the water. I'm really happy with how this one turned out, and I love looking at it every day. Okay, so those are my fully finished objects, and then I did have a finish. So this is from Mill Hill, and this is what it looked like the last time I showed it to you. And this is on Mill Hill kits. They come with perforated paper, and I decided that I would rather stitch them on fabric to make them into flat folds in the future. So this is on a 28 count, I believe it's pearl gray, and I finished the Bookseller. So I've filled in this window, this chair, and all of the white here. We've got 2 cardinals and a bird feeder, and then 2 cats, and all of the beading since the last time I showed it to you. And this is a buttons and beads, so it also comes with this button, which is a stack of books. You might be able to see that it says math on it. So I've got 2 finished now. I've got the Carolers and the Bookseller, and I have space on this piece of fabric for 4 more. So I'm really excited with that finish, and I'm planning on doing Christmas in July stitching. I'll talk a little bit more about it later when I get to my other Christmas piece, but I'm thinking about spending July and December focused on Christmas pieces. And I started the first one of these, I think 3 years ago. So if I wanted to be on track to do one every year, then I would need to do one this year before December and then start another one in December. So I've got a couple of patterns already. I've got the tree farm, the toy shop, skating pond, and the general store. So when I'm thinking about what I want to stitch next, I'm thinking about the Bookseller. Now, I love books, so picking the Bookseller was like an obvious choice for me. But when you look at this, besides the fact that it says Bookseller on it, and there's a button with some books on it, you can't really tell that it's supposed to be a bookshop. Now, I understand it's probably hard to get details in a 90 by 90 stitch piece. I think these are supposed to be in the windows, some books. You can kind of see the ones here, they're facing out rather than stacked sideways like the ones in the windows. But other than that, you can't really tell that it's supposed to be a bookseller. So when I look at these other ones that I have, the toy shop, it has a little wheelbarrow out front, and it says toy shop, and there's a little doll button. And here it is. The general store, it says general store on it, but I really don't think that either of these like scream like, hey, it's not really obvious what they are. So I'm thinking that the next one will probably be the skating pond or the tree farm. And I'm thinking about going with the skating pond because it looks like a little less stitching. It doesn't look very involved. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and start and finish this in July. So that's a little bit of Christmas in July plans for you. And that's my finish. So now I have 5 whips to show you, and I'm going to show them in order from least progress to most progress. And since it's already, like, I believe I said it's the 9th of May, I have some May progress on them as well as some April progress. I'm just going to share my April numbers just to keep it simple, so I don't have to do too much extra math. So the first one is Yggdrasil, or Celtic Knock Tree of Life by 2x2 Stitcher and Etsy. And this is what it'll look like when it's finished. I should say that I'm only stitching the center tree. I'm not going to stitch any of the borders along the outside. And this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. And this is stitched on a 32 count dark olive Lugana 1/1. And here it is now. So, where is it? I didn't put it on my notes. But since the last time I showed it to you, I stitched 300 stitches, and they were up here in this area, which I was really proud of myself for doing it because there was an error in that area. And so I had to figure out how to fudge it and continue downwards. So I think I've got it all fixed now, as good as it's going to get, and I think it looks okay. Yep, so that one is looking good. Oh, and the Millhill kit, it took me 4 days of stitching to finish it, between last time I showed it to you and the finish. And then we've got Celebrate Summer. This is what it'll look like when it's finished. This is a pattern by Madame Chantilly. And this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. And this is stitched on 28 count Rainy Day Lugana by Atomic Fabrics. And this is what it looks like now. So since the last time I showed it to you, I finished the lighthouse. I did the mermaid and her starfish. I did the gray of the stand and the little flags below the stand. And I'm really happy with how this one is turning out. This one is so much fun to work on. And this is 2 days progress, or about 1,000 stitches since the last time I showed it to you. Okay, and then we're going to move into my full coverage pieces. So first up is Victorian Christmas Eve, and this is what it will look like when it's finished. This is a pattern by Sandy Littlejohn and Deborah Lester. They were going by the cross stitch arts, and I picked this up several years ago. Someone did tell me that it's available on Etsy, but none of the Etsy sellers seem to be related to either of the designers, and the pattern is ridiculously cheap. So I'm going to say that they're probably not legitimate patterns. I bought this several years ago when they had a Facebook group and a Patreon page. And this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. This is stitched 2/2 on 32 grout. I think this is Pearl Gray as well. And since the last time I showed it to you, I've done 2,866 stitches. Or 2,866 stitches in the month of April. So I've worked on filling in this snow. This boy is new, and that tree is new. And I didn't realize this until I was getting ready to set up. It looks like he's an invisible man, because he's got his hat and his jacket and his arm, but no head. So that's kind of funny. This one is sitting at 29% complete, and I worked on it for 9 days in April. I've worked on it 1 day so far in May, but that was just 200 stitches or so. So I guess we'll talk about plans at the end, because again, this one I am planning on working on it as my major piece in July and December. So for my plans, I've kind of divided up the number of stitches I want to get in between those 2 months. So we'll get to that at the end. And the next one is my big one. This is A Place of Her Own, and this is what it'll look like when it's finished. This is artwork by James Christensen, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. This is stitched on 18 count sand aida, 2/1 full cross. And some people were upset that I didn't show the whole thing in my last video. So I'm going to do my best. This is a full yard of fabric, so it's kind of hard to wrangle. I'll have to stand up. So we've got curtain and a tapestry, some music, sheet music, cushion, some pillows, books, cases, and a rug at the bottom. There's the main focal piece is this lady reading the book and her dress. More books. And then there's a painting here. I believe this is a Rembrandt Aristotle with bust of Homer. Got some surprised fish in the background there, and a map and some cushions. And then I'm going to fold this up so I can show you where I've been working. So I have this much left, just this little corner. I'm at 95.9% complete on this, so almost just 4% left. Since the last time I showed this to you, I worked on filling in this book, and I've been working on this big black and dark brown section. So this got 3,000 stitches in the month of April, and I've put about another 1,000 stitches on it in May so far. So there's that. Not much left. It's kind of funny because I'm showing you more of what's unstitched than what's stitched. Could make this bigger so you can see the full stack of books. That rug is the most confetti heavy part of this piece. So I've got 2 pages across and 2.5 pages down left to go. Yep. So that's a place of her own. And then I have Ornament Log Cabin Home, and this is what it'll look like when it's finished. This is also Heaven and Earth Designs, and the artwork is by Dominic Davison. This is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. Since my last video, I've been trying to switch my focus from A Place of Her Own to this one. So that's why this one got more stitches. This one got 6,000 stitches in the month of April, over 9 stitching days. And here it is now. So since the last time I showed this to you, I've worked on filling in the sky. I got the bird there, and then I've gotten a good chunk of the mountain done. This one is sitting at 15% complete. I think that one's looking really good. This, I forgot to mention, is 25 count 1/1 Lugana. So those are all of my whips. Now I'm going to talk about my plans. So I'm going to put in a picture of my spreadsheet. I keep track of all of my stitching in a little planner, and then once a month or every other week I go through and I input my stitches into the spreadsheet. At the beginning of the year, my goals added up to 43,000 full coverage cross stitches. So I wanted to get enough stitching done to finish A Place of Her Own, and then do 9,000 stitches on the Log Cabin Home and 5,000 stitches on Victorian Christmas Eve. And I picked those numbers for 1 because I wanted to finish A Place of Her Own, and then 2, I wanted to do 5,000 stitches for every year of my other 2 projects. So if they were turning 3 years old, I would want them to have 15,000 stitches by the time they turned 3. So those were my original plans. So you can see on the spreadsheet that there are some stitches needed to meet goal, and they're in parentheses because they're negative numbers, meaning I've already stitched more stitches than I would need for my goal. So I misspoke. So my original goals added up to 58,000 stitches, which would have been a really good year for past me. So far this year, I've already stitched 43,000 stitches. So as you can see from the spreadsheet, I am above and beyond what my goals were. So I decided to set some stretch goals. So A Place of Her Own, obviously I'm working to finish it, and I want to finish it in October when I go to the Stitch New England retreat. So there's not much that needs to be adjusted there, just my expectations of how many stitches I want to get done each month. And I'm not including July in that because I'm planning on working on my Christmas pieces in July. So that leaves me 4 months to get the remaining stitches done. That's May, June, not July, August, and September, to get the remaining stitches done on A Place of Her Own, which comes out to about 3,500 stitches a month. Then for Ornament Log Cabin Home, my original goal was 9,000 stitches, and I've decided now that I would like to get it to 33% complete. I'm at 15% complete now. And so over the year, not counting July or December, because again, I'll be working on my Christmas pieces then, I need to get 4,000 stitches a month in order to meet that goal. And so again, that's 3,500 on A Place of Her Own, 4,000 on Ornament Log Cabin Home. So about 7,500 stitches. And you can see on my spreadsheet the total number of full coverage stitches I've done each month so far this year. And with the exception of February, I'm hitting around 10 to 11,000. So I should be able to hit those stretch goals. And then finally, for Victorian Christmas Eve, I would like to get it to 50% complete. And right now it's at 29% complete. And so that's about 10,000 stitches remaining to meet my goal. And so I'm thinking I'll do 5,000 of those in July and 5,000 of those in December. So those are my plans coming up. I'm also going to sprinkle in a little bit of my non-full coverage pieces as I do when I need a little bit of a break. So those are my plans. Speaking of plans, so you saw how big my fabric for A Place of Her Own was. Yes? Well, I got some more fabric. This is 18 count easy grid, and this is 41 by 47 inches. So this is even larger than the fabric of A Place of Her Own. Yeah, it's big. And this is because I acquired 3 new charts this year. And just hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. So I'm going to have to figure out how to slice these 2 videos together, but I wanted to give credit where credit is due. So I acquired 3 new full coverage charts in the past few weeks. One of them I won as a giveaway on Instagram from Sisk Ellen, and that is a pain-free crafts chart of my choice. And so, of course, I picked the very popular Winter Book Nook, and this is what it'll look like. This piece, let me pull it up on Pattern Keeper so I can tell you the full amount. This piece has 512,000 stitches in it. So for reference, A Place of Her Own has 306,000 stitches in it. So this is like 1.6 times the size of A Place of Her Own. So if I was going to stitch this, I would need to stitch it on, not 18 count, I would need to stitch it on something smaller than that, because I've already maxed out the size of 18 count aida that you can get. The bolt is only, I believe, 42 inches wide, and so that's as big as you can get it. That piece is 42 by 47, I believe. So I would need to stitch it on something smaller than that, which is fine. You know, I'm doing my Ornament Log Cabin Home on 25 count. So I'm not sure if I was going to stitch this Cozy Winter Book Nook, if I would stitch it on 25 count or 28 count. Really kind of depends on how much black is in the piece, I think. And then I won a gift card from Colette, the Highway Stitcher, last February for full coverage February. And I'm just now getting around to using it because I like to sit and think about my purchases for an extremely long time before I actually purchase them. So I won a gift card from her from Heaven and Earth's Nines. So I waited for them to have a 50% off sale. And then I got Once Upon a Fairy Tale, and this is the one by Jenna Della Grataglia. It's not the Amy Stewart pattern. And this one is 456,000 stitches. And that is what this giant piece of fabric is for. And then, since they were having a 50% off sale, I was also able to purchase one more. And I purchased Coral City Max Colors. Now, I had started, actually I could show you. I have Coral City. It's not an active whip. So I started Coral City many moons ago when I went to Australia. And this is what it's looking like. I believe this is about 15,000 stitches. And I just wasn't happy with the way it was turning out. I felt like there's a lot of white in the chart that is kind of blown out when it's been converted to a pattern, so that you can't really see the stuff behind it. So I asked them to make it Max Colors, and they did. And the funny thing is that the Max Colors is the exact same dimensions as the original chart that I had. So I was thinking that instead of starting it over, I could just use what I already have and then build off of that with the new Max Colors version. But I'm not 100% sure right now. So those are my new acquisitions, and I would love to start them, but I think I'm going to wait a while. I think that I have set some really solid goals for myself for the rest of the year in regards to my full coverage stitching, and I think that if I get those accomplished, then maybe for a new year, new start, I'll start Once Upon a Fairy Tale. For some reason, although that one is still 456,000 stitches, it seems a little less daunting to me than the 500,000 stitches of Cozy Winter Book Nook. I also think I love Cozy Winter Book Nook. Obviously, that's why I requested it. But I think that Once Upon a Fairy Tale would be the natural successor to A Place of Her Own, because it's still a beautiful woman in a beautiful dress. And I think that I enjoy that it's set outside. There's a little tiny mushroom in the pattern that I found, and there's an owl, there's trees, and I had originally purchased another pattern by Jenna Della Grataglia. It's called The Resting Tree, and I did that as a mini, and I got, I think, about 3 or 4 pages in, and I wasn't happy with the detail, so I stopped working on it, and I bought the poster of the artwork instead. So I have been interested in her artwork for quite some time. So I think that is what I'm leaning towards right now. If you have any of these charts and would like to start them together, let me know, because I would love to do a start along. But I will say that I am limited, and that I don't think that I will be willing to start either of them this year. So those are my new charts. And then I have something else that I wanted to show you. I got this when I was at the Steel City Stitchers retreat, and I forgot to show it to you. This is a little pattern holder, and it's by Nana K. It says it here too. Nana K. So it's got beads in it and this little floppy thing so that you can just set your pattern in it, and it holds it up for you. So I got this to hold my paper patterns, yes, but also to hold my phone while I'm in bed watching TV, so that it'll sit up for me and I won't have to hold it the whole time. Just a little bit of laziness. Okay, so that is all of my acquisitions. And now we have a giveaway to announce. So get excited. I forgot to bring the pattern with me, but I'm giving away the beach pattern by the Cross-Eyed Cricket. And I went to a random YouTube comment picker and put in the word beach. And it came up with Diana Myrie 8402. So Diana, congratulations, you have won this. I'm going to put my email address in the description box below, and if you would please send me an email and let me know your address so I can get this shipped out to you, I would love to do that. Okay, so thank you everybody for watching. I had a lot to show today. I'm really glad to get to share it to you. If you would, leave me a comment so I know that you were here. I really love getting the comments and reading them. It always makes my day when a new comment comes in. It puts a little smile on my face, especially when I'm at work, because it's a little secret smile. No one knows that I do these videos, so they don't know why I'm smiling to myself, that someone cared enough about my video to leave a comment. And it really is something special to me. So thank you all for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.